Hello, good morning students. Welcome back to our lecture on polynomials. In this series of lectures, we'll be learning how to identify a given expression as a polynomial or not, and how to draw the given polynomial on a graph paper. Okay, identifying the points at which the graph intersects the x-axis and y-axis, and there are many characteristics of a graph which we'll be learning in this series of lectures. Okay students, so let's look at how to identify whether some given expression is a polynomial or not, the first and foremost skill which is requisite. So what is our goal? It is to learn the graphs of polynomial function. Okay, means there are two things what we have to learn. If you are given a polynomial expression, you should be able to recognize how it looks on a graph paper. Okay, and the other thing is, if you are given a graph of a polynomial function, you should be able to approximately exactly guess the polynomial expression. Okay, there are two ways, both the ways we need to learn. Let's look at how we can implement the skills. So the skills to develop are: recognize characteristics of graphs of polynomial functions. Okay, and then use factoring to find zeros of polynomial function. This already you have learned how to factor the polynomial function. And then identify zeros and their multiplicities. What are zeros? Means when you factorize the polynomial function into respective linear factors, okay, and equate them, then the x-intercepts or the points at which the factors become zero, they are called as zeros or roots. So this already we have discussed. Now what do we mean by the multiplicities? Multiplicities means it is a repetition factor. So for example, if the 0 is repeating once, say look at this, say x minus 1 whole square into x minus 3. Okay students, so in this expression, if you equate each linear factor to 0, then the values of x at which this expression becomes 0, or the zeros, what will be getting as 1, 1, 3. Okay, now if you look at this one is repeating twice. Okay, the 1 is repeating twice. So here 2, this 2 will call it as the multiplicity. This 2 will call it as the multiplicity of what? Multiplicity of 0, 1, or the multiplicity of root 1, because root 1 is the one which is repeating twice. So this will call it as multiplicity. Similarly, x minus 3, how many times you are having this factor? It is only once. So we'll call 1 as the multiplicity of the root 3. Okay students, means what is meant by multiplicity? Means it is a number of times that particular factor is being repeated in the polynomial expression. And then determine end behavior. What do we mean by determining end behavior is, students, polynomial expression, it always consists of a variable x. Okay, now determining the end behavior means like how the graph looks when you keep on increasing x indefinitely to plus infinity, how the graph or the wing of the graph looks. Similarly, if you keep on decreasing x indefinitely to minus infinity, how does it look? So these characteristics, we'll call it as the end behavior. So these terms are very, very important. One is, so these are the characteristics of graph. So by looking at the graph, you should be able to know, see how it is behaving at the end point, and what are the points of intersection, that is where it is intersecting the x-axis, means those are the zeros, the points at which the graph intersects the x-axis. Similarly, you need to determine the end behavior. Okay, identify the multiplicities, because because of the multiplicities we can identify the graph very approximately. And then understand the relationship between the degree and the turning points. Degree and the turning points. What does it mean is, students, say for example, try to draw a straight line. Say this is say line y is equal to x minus 2. Okay, now students, if you look at this, instead of this, or let's consider another something like this. See, in this particular example, if you look at this graph is changing directions. Initially it is going upward and then it is moving downward. So whenever you will see the graph to change its directions, then the points at which it changes the direction, see here it is going upward till this point, whereas after this point it is coming downward. So these points we'll call it as turning points. Okay students, so turning point means the points at which the graph tends to change its direction. So all these terms are very very important, and then you need to learn how to graph this polynomial function. And finally, last not but the least, we'll be learning the intermediate value theorem. Intermediate value theorem, this is again a very very important application for graphing. So we learn this and we'll be winding up this series of lectures. So here you need to understand the characteristics of graphs of polynomial function. That is, by looking at the polynomial equation, you should be able to identify what is the degree. Is the degree even or odd? That is the first thing. And second thing is, you should be able to use your factoring skills, like you have learned remainders theorem, factors theorem, you know how to split the quadratic expressions. Okay, you have known the completing the squares method, you know synthetic division method, long division method. So use all your skills and you should be able to factorize. Okay, once you factorize, equating each linear factor to 0, you will be able to find the zeros of the polynomial functions. Okay, and then so you will be able to identify the zeros and then their multiplicities. What are multiplicities? The number of times the factor is being repeated, we will call it as the multiplicity. And then determining the end behavior. What is meant by determination of end behavior? How the graph looks, okay, at the ends, like when x tends to plus infinity, that is x goes indefinitely too high, or what happens when x goes too low, that is towards minus infinity. Similarly, we need to understand the relation between the degree of the polynomial and the turning points. Students, you know what is degree. What is meant by turning point? Turning point means the points at which the graph tends to change its direction. Or say for example, if the graph again lifts upward, then this is going to be a turning point, because here it is going downward and here it is changing its course. And then we need to know how to graph polynomial functions, and then we'll be learning about the intermediate value theorem. Okay students, so let's start with the first thing, how to recognize the characteristics of graph of polynomial functions. Students, firstly, see this is a revenue in millions, okay, for a fictional cable company. For a fictional cable company, what does it mean is, see some data is given, okay, the revenue in millions of dollars for a fictional cable company. Now this revenue, if we try to express it in the equation form, see here this is given for a couple of years, okay, so these are just numbers, means for a particular year this is the revenue, $52.4 million. Similarly for year 2007, this is the particular revenue value. So in this way, if we'll try to express the same thing in terms of equation, what do we mean by expressing the data in terms of equation means, say for example, if you are given like set n is equal to 1, x is equal to 2, at n is equal to 2, x is equal to 3, at n is equal to 3, x is equal to 2. So that here in this example we can say that x is equal to 2 for all n, right? So this x is equal to 2 is the equation which represents the values of x for different values of n. So similarly, if we try to model, modeling means finding the relation between the output entity, that is output quantity which we are interested, with respect to the input entity, that is we want to know how the revenues been varied each year. So if the relation expressed being revenues, the output quantity with respect to the input entity, that is the year, we'll call it as the model. Mathematical model means it is nothing but the relationship expressing between those entities, input and output, or the any relationship between the quantities we are interested. So in most of the cases we'll be expressing that relationship in terms of equation. So if we try to model this example, we'll find that the revenue can be modeled by this polynomial function. So where R with respect to time, R represents the revenue in millions of dollars and T represents the year. So if T is equal to 6 means it corresponds to 2006, over which intervals is the revenue for the company increasing. Here you need not understand anything, guys. So here this is just a particular example what we are showing, like that this data can be modeled in terms of a polynomial expression. This is the only thing what you have to understand at this point. These equations along with many others can be answered by examining the graph of the polynomial function. Means, see, one question is modeling. So at this point of time you don't worry about this modeling part. So here the main key point is that those type of data we can model with polynomial functions. So this you need not worry. But look at this. Over which intervals is the revenue for the company increasing, or over which intervals is the revenue for the company decreasing? See, because we are interested in the analysis, like how the company is performing. Is the company making profits or is the company making losses? Whatever it is, the status. Because only if we had a proper insight or analysis we could take care, okay, we could make the right decisions. So these type of questions, analytic questions, can be answered by examining the graph of the polynomial function. Okay, students, so we can easily model with polynomial function. So right now you don't worry about how to model, but in this series of lectures we'll be trying to understand how to examine the graph of the polynomial function. We have already explored the local behavior of quadratic, a special case of polynomial, that is we know how to factor the quadratic expression and all. Okay, we'll be discussing more as well, you don't worry. So to answer the analytic questions, okay, so one is modeling and the other is examining the graph. These two are important. Examining the graph. Okay, students, so any experiment, okay, any real life experimental analysis involves these two things. One is modeling. You need to come up with a right model, okay, which depicts the scenario which is under investigation. And the second thing is we need to examine the graph once we will come up with the right model, because that would answer all our questions. So recognizing characteristics of a graphs of polynomial functions. Students, first of all, polynomial functions of degree 2 or more have graphs that do not have sharp corners. sharp corners. See, polynomial functions of degree, what should be the degree? Degree should be greater than or equal to 2. Then they do not have no sharp corners. What do we mean by no sharp corners? No sharp corners. No sharp corners means, for example, if graph looks like a V-shaped, see, this is something like a pointed thing. So this is very sharp. You don't find sharp corners at all. Okay, or look at this W thing. So these are sharp corners. Okay, students. So you will never find sharp corners in case of the polynomial functions. And then polynomial, see, recall that these type of graphs are called smooth graphs. If there are no sharp corners, we'll call them as smooth graphs. Something like this. I mean, they move smoothly. And then curves with no breaks are called continuous. Continuous means, see, for example, if you look at these two, see, here you can observe that there is a break in the graph. So this we will not call it as continuous. Continuous means there should be no gap. It goes indefinitely, something like this. Something like this. Something like this. So you will find no breaks. So if there is any gap in between, then it is not continuous. So there are two terms here, whatever we are learning. One is sharp corner. Sharp corner means this pointed type of thing. There should be no pointed things. And then the other thing is continuity, means there should be no gaps. Okay, students. So polynomial functions also display graphs that have no breaks. So this property we'll call it as continuity or continuous. Curves with no breaks are called continuous. Let's look at some example. See, look at this. This graph is labeled as f. Now if you look at this graph is continuous. There are no breaks. There are no breaks. Implies what? Continuous. So graph is continuous. And then are there sharp corners? No. No sharp corners. Means what do we say? Implies graph is smooth. You can travel smoothly. Okay, try to travel on this graph. You will travel smoothly. But in case if there is a sharp point, what will happen? Something there you will find some, some bump like thing. And look at this graph. Here again, are there any sharp points? No. But here you can find that there is a break. If there is a break, we'll say that the function is not continuous or function is discontinuous. Function is discontinuous. What do we mean by saying function is discontinuous? That there is a gap when you try to draw the graph. Okay. And then, so recognizing polynomial functions. So which of the graphs in the following figure represents a polynomial function? Students, two important characteristics of a polynomial function are continuity and smoothness. What do we mean by saying continuity? Continuity means there should be no gaps. Smoothness means no sharp points. Okay. So if these two conditions are satisfied, then the graph would be a polynomial function. If it is a polynomial function, then these two, that no gaps and no sharp points, these conditions should be satisfied. Okay, students. So now, is this a polynomial function? Yes. If you'll observe that there are no gaps in this graph and there are no sharp points as well. So hence this graph f is polynomial. F is polynomial. Now let's look at this graph G. Students, if we'll observe at this graph, there are sharp points. Okay, see this pointed point. So that means this breaks the condition of being a polynomial function. So graph G is not a polynomial function. It is not a. This graph G is not a polynomial. Let's look at another example. Okay, what can we say about graph H? If you look at graph H, see, first of all, for any graph to be a polynomial function, two conditions should be satisfied. What are those? One is being the continuous condition, and other thing is the sharp corners. The graph should have no sharp corners. So if you look at this graph, see, there is no gap. You don't see any when you are trying to draw this graph, right? So what can we say? If there are no gaps, we'll say that graph H is continuous. Okay, students, so graph H is continuous. And then the second property what we need to look at is sharp corners. Does this graph having sharp corners? Sharp corners means the pointed corners, like as we see in V, these type of pointed corners. There are no sharp corners, right? So we can say that this graph H is smooth. So from the figure we can say that the graph H is continuous and graph H is also smooth. Okay, so the two characteristics of the polynomial function are satisfied. So hence we can say that graph H is a polynomial function. Therefore graph H is a polynomial. Okay, students, let's look at another example. See, if you look at graph K, we can see that there are breaks. We can see that there is a break over here. The graph is jumping from one point to other point. So hence this graph is not continuous. So we can say that graph K is having breaks or gaps. Okay, so implies graph K is not continuous. So if any graph is not continuous, then we'll say that that graph is not a polynomial function. So graph K is not a polynomial function. So graph K is not a polynomial function. Okay, students, hope you have understood this, how to identify a given graph as a polynomial or not. What we'll be doing is we'll be looking at two important characteristics. One is, does the graph having any breaks? Okay, if there are breaks, then we'll say that the graph is not continuous. If there are no gaps or breaks, then we'll say that the function is continuous. And then second thing is we look for sharp corners. Okay, if there are any sharp corners, then we'll say that the graph is non-smooth. Okay, if there are no sharp corners, we'll say that the graph is smooth. Okay, and then how to classify whether a given graph is a polynomial or not? If a graph is continuous as well as smooth, okay, that is there are no gaps as well as there are no sharp corners, we'll classify them to be a polynomial. Okay, students, so let's move to our next topic. So this is the analysis what we have seen, the graphs of H and f are the graphs of polynomial functions because they are smooth and continuous. So the graphs of g and k are graphs of functions that are not polynomials. Because the graph of function g has a sharp corner, the graph of function f has a, see here, there is a gap over here, so this is not a polynomial function. Now, do all polynomial functions have as their domain all real numbers? So what did we discuss about domain? Domain means the set of all values for which the function is defined. Okay, so if we look at any expression like f of x is equal to x minus 1. Okay, so here for this expression we can see that if you substitute any value of x, x minus 1 is defined. Okay, put x is equal to 1, we will be getting 0. Put x is equal to 2, we will be getting 1. So in this way, for any different value of x, we will be getting the corresponding value of f of x. Okay, so the values of x, the set of values of x for which the given expression is defined, we will call it as the domain. Now similarly, say suppose, look at another example, say f of x is equal to square root of x. Here students, similarly try to find the domain. We have discussed all these in one of our previous lecture. Substitute x is equal to 0, we will be getting 0. Substitute x is equal to 1, we will be getting 1. But whereas if you will substitute minus 1, square root of minus 1 is not defined. So in this particular example, this expression is not defined for negative values. Okay, for negative values this expression of square root is not defined. Hence the set of all values for which this function is defined would be only the positive set of real numbers or non-negative set of real numbers. So the domain for this function is going to be r plus, that is 0 to infinity. Whereas in this example, x minus 1, this function is defined for all values of x. So here domain is r. Similarly, if you look at a polynomial function, we know that polynomial functions are, see what is the general equation, general equation of a polynomial? It would be of the form an x power n plus an minus 1 x power n minus 1 plus so on plus a1x plus a0. This is the equation of the polynomial of degree n in standard form, which we have learned earlier. Now if you look at this, in this expression if you try to substitute any value of x, we can find this value of f of x. Okay, so that means the domain of the polynomial functions are all real numbers. So answer is yes, any real number is a valid input for a polynomial function. But if you look at this square root function, here the input should be non-negative because it can't accept negative values. Similarly, let's look at another example. Say g of x is equal to 1 by x. Here in this example, if you input x is equal to 0, then this becomes 1 by 0, division by 0. Division by 0 is not defined. So hence here for this function the domain would be set of all real numbers except 0. So what is domain? Domain means the set of all valid inputs for which the function could be defined. Okay students, so if you look at the standard notation of the polynomial, this polynomial expression takes all inputs. Okay, any real number would be a valid input for this expression. Hence the domain of the polynomials is all real numbers. Okay students, with this let's wind up today's lecture. We'll meet in our next lecture. Thank you.